There is a girl who is stranded on the side of the road, and she's waiting for a lift. She's been out here all day, and she's starting to get really cold. She sees a car coming in the distance, but it's going way too fast. As it gets closer, she realizes that it's a tow truck, and when it stops, she runs over and jumps in the back. The driver looks at her and asks, "Where do you want to go?" She tells him the address of the house she's staying at, and he starts driving. After a few minutes of driving, she looks down and realizes that she left her phone on the table at the gas station. She quickly calls her friend and tells him to come pick her up, because she is at a house now, and she'll cut and leave. Her friend arrives and she runs out of the house and into his arms. They drive off together, and we never see the tow truck driver again. One night, one family was sleeping peacefully in their house. But when one of the family members got home late, there was a big tragedy. To be continued. Type yes if you want to hear the ending. So this family had a big, beautiful house. The thing is, one of the family members always stayed out late, partying with their friends. And one night, they came home very drunk, and they forgot to lock the front door. In the middle of the night, a group of armed robbers broke into the house. They went to the bedrooms and started shaking everyone awake. "Give me all your money and jewelry," they said. The family was so scared. They had never seen these men before in their lives. But then one of the robbers noticed something. He saw a little girl sleeping peacefully in her bed, and instead of waking her up, he gently carried her to another room and laid her down on the couch. He then took off his mask and whispered in her ear, "I'm sorry, but you need to wake up." The little girl looked up at him with the cutest face and asked, "Are you Santa Claus?" This neighbor is eyeing his neighbor's car, and one day the car is missing, and nobody knows who took it. They reported it at the nearest police station, and a hunt was started. But for days, weeks, and even months, they haven't had any suspects yet. The case is still open. The neighbor, Mr. Williams, is a retired police officer. He's been living in this neighborhood for over 20 years, and he's never seen anything like this happen. The car that was stolen was a 2018 model. It was silver in color and had tinted windows. The owner of the car, Mrs. Smith, is a single mother of 2. She works as a nurse, and she doesn't have the money to replace the car. She's also too afraid to drive at night because of the car. The neighborhood watch has been going around checking all the cars to see if they are locked. But so far there hasn't been any signs of a break-in. The police are still looking for the car and whoever took it. And if you have any information, please contact the authorities. This couple is getting married, but their families are against it. These 2 young couples were happy together, and they were getting married soon. But their families had a big problem with it. The girl's family didn't like the boy's family, and the boy's family didn't like the girl's family. They couldn't marry as soon as they wanted to, so they had to wait until they were both of legal age. The boy was 18, and the girl was 19. They had to wait another year until they could get married. They were both in love, and they were very happy together. They couldn't wait to start their lives together as husband and wife. The girl's family finally agreed to let her marry the boy. The boy's family still wasn't happy about it, but they didn't have a choice. The wedding was beautiful, and the 2 families finally got along. The end. I hope they live happily ever after.
There was a young boy who went into the store to buy medicine for her ill mother, and while walking home, there was a big monkey-eating eagle that snagged him and fly him to its nest. And while he is on the nest, the young boy fight back. He grabbed the eagle chick and told the mother eagle to send him back to the land so he can buy that medicine for his mother. And if the bird refuses, this young kid will definitely harm the chick. So the mother bird agreed with the deal. But when they get to the land, the eagle drop him off, take the medicine, and go back to the nest. The boy was so happy that he successfully negotiated with the eagle to save his mother. He give the eagle a big smile and wave as he'll walk away. But then the eagle starts screaming and crying because it just realized that it made a huge mistake. It let the boy go, and now the baby is gonna die.
This is the story of a desperate mother who gave up her newborn child. This woman was so disturbed that her husband left her with their child and didn't care about them any more that she begged to live with her sister and the sister's husband. But the sister didn't believe her and took her in anyway. And then the sister's husband started molesting her, She was so confused and ended up staying with her child. One day, she was crying, and a fisherman asked her why. She told him that she couldn't raise her child, and the fisherman asked her if she would give him the child. She agreed and handed over her child. She was so desperate for help. The fisherman raised the child as their own, and after years she regretted her decision and wished she had her child back. But it was too late. The child was grown up, and she never saw them again. There was a boy who fell out of an aircraft and landed in a bush unconscious. A gorilla came to check if he was still alive. And when he saw that the boy was breathing, he brought him some water. The boy was so frightened. He started shaking and soon realized that he was surrounded by a mob of friendly gorillas. He had no choice but to accept the offer of water from the gorilla. And for a long time, the boy lived with the gorillas, ate with them, slept with them, and even learned to speak their language. But deep down, the young boy wished to see his parents one last time. So one day the boy asked the gorilla, "Can I go back home now?" The gorilla understood and took the boy to his family. The boy was so happy to see his parents again, but he was sad to leave his gorilla friends. The boy's parents were so relieved to see their son alive. They hugged and kissed him and thanked the gorillas for taking care of their son. The end.
One day, this woman was walking on a path and she heard a baby crying. She's like, "Where is that coming from?" And she found out it was coming from inside the bin. She was so shocked. She grabbed the infant and took him to the hospital and reported it to the police. And the police started to chase and look for the suspect mother who abandoned her baby. For a meanwhile, the baby needed to be adopted so he can survive, and the woman who found him adopted him. And now, he's grown up and looking so cute and lovely. This is why you should never abandon your kids, especially if you're not ready to take care of them. You're not ready to be a mom or a dad. There are so many things to consider before you bring a child into this world. If you think you're not ready, please don't do it. If you're not ready, it's okay to be a kid. It's not okay to abandon your kids. The woman who found this baby is a hero. She saved his life, and now they're a family. They're so happy together. And this baby is so lucky to have her as his mom. Once upon a time, there were 10 little frogs swimming in a swamp. The mother told them to nap. But the little frogs said, "We don't want to nap, Mom. We want to swim." So the mother frog said, "Okay, let's swim." And they all swam. And they got very excited and started swimming very fast. And the mother frog knew if she didn't do something, they would get too excited and drown. So what she did was drain the pond. And when the pond was empty, all the little frogs stopped swimming and they went home and they had that nap. The moral of the story is, kids, listen to your mother. If you don't, you might end up like this frog, sad and alone in a dried up pond.
Imga Kabagon may izing nakakagulat, nakuwento, and gusto kong ibahagi, ese inyo ingayon. Izang ara may nagagutamna, asona nagalakad, sa kalsada. Sathe kalayan may nakita siang batang may dilang pandezel. Dahil sa matinding gutam, hinabol inji aso ang bata, at kinuha ang pandeza, amiat ang bata at tumakbo, pawi, igad niyang sinimbang, sa kanyang mga magulang ang nangyari. Nakakalungkit man ang sitwa nayantin naang aso, agutam lang talaga. Inguni hindi rin tamana kunina kuni iba. Dapat yung majing mabat sa mga hayop. Pero kalangan din nading turuan sila inji tamang azel kung nagustuhan. Nino ang kwento. Huwag kalamutang magzuskra. Sa aming channel at Ilakong Video na ito. Maraming salamat sa panonood. Hanggang sa muli. Magan mabait, Teo, Sa, Isit, Isa, Magandao, Manohayop. Ingat po kong layat.
A long time ago, there was a little girl who was walking through a bakery. She bought some ensaimada bread and started eating it while walking back home. She didn't see the hungry dog that was behind her, and after
She didn't finish her bread, the dog
the
ate
dog
it.
suddenly ate her whole bread. Luckily, it didn't harm her hands. The little girl was frightened and ran home crying. Her parents went out to look for the dog, but they couldn't find it anywhere. So they bought another bread and gave it to their little girl, and she stopped crying. The end. Long time ago in the Valley of Paradise, everybody's happy. Everybody's enjoying their life. And one day there is a herd of wolves, and they attack one of the villagers and left to bleed while asking for help. And all of their neighbors gathered and fight back with this fox's bows and arrows, shooting everywhere. A torch of fire is also used to let all those foxes vanish. And when all fox is gone, they rescue their neighbor and cure him with herbal medicine. That time, a fence is a must for their village. But building a fence is not enough. You need to have the right tools for the job. And that's why we invented the wheel. No, not that wheel. This wheel, the Wheel of Paradise. With this wheel, you can build the strongest fence in the world. And if you think that's a coincidence, just take a look at this. The Wheel of Paradise can also be used as a mirror. Now let's get back to the story. So they built the Wheel of Paradise and they lived happily ever after. The end!
This evil woman drained an entire family's wealth. The family had 4 adult children, and they were all living together in their mom's mansion. One day, a woman who was not related to the family showed up claiming to be a distant cousin. She started making excuses about how she was sick and needed to stay with them, and the family, being the nice people that they were, let her move in. She started draining their money, but the family didn't notice until it was too late. They ended up spending all of their money on medical bills for this woman who turned out to be a complete stranger. Once she had drained their money, she left the family and moved on to the next one. And as for the children, they ended up homeless, all because their mother trusted a stranger. If only they had listened to their gut instincts and called the police, things could have turned out very differently. But the imposter is still out there living her best life, looking for her next victim.
This guy spread freedom of speech. He was a good guy with a kind heart who loved to debate with people. He would go up to anyone who shared his opinion and settle it mutually. He is loved by many young people and adult people because of his personality. Sadly, one day, in a gathering forum, he was shot by a mysterious person, and that person is still at large. His name is not known. He's just known as the good guy who was taken too soon. I have a question. Do you think it was right for him to be shot? Was it wrong for him to spread freedom of speech? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to follow for more content like this. We keep it real out here. That's all. Thank you. Peace.
This story is so sad, it will make you cry. There was a couple who adopted a bastard child. They loved him so much that they raised him like their own and sent him to school. Sadly, he got involved with drugs and never finished school. He ended up having a missus and a child and was supported by his adoptive parents. The father died, and after a year apart, the mother died too. And it is suspected that he poisoned them so he could have the inheritance to support his young family. I am not judging this child. I am sure that he had a rough childhood, and I feel bad for him. But at the same time, I am angry because he took the lives of 2 innocent people. If you do something bad, you have to face the consequences. And I hope that one day he will pay the price and be punished by the law. This story is an example of what happens when you do not face the consequences of your actions. If you do something bad, no matter how rich or poor you are, you will face the consequences. Karma is a bitch.
A long time ago, there was a poor boy who lived with her ill mother. This young boy was so desperate to bring her mother to a hospital, but with a lack of money, he couldn't afford it. One day, he went into the shoe shop and asked the owner to employ him. The owner gave him a ton of pairs of shoes to polish, and for a very long time he found a gold bar inside the shoe. He gave it to his boss. The boss said, "Oh, thank you for your honesty. I will reward you. Whatever you want to buy, bring my mom to hospital." The boy was so happy that he could finally buy his mother medicine and food. He brought her to the hospital and stayed by her side every day until she was well enough to come home. From that day on, the boy and his mother were never poor again, and they lived happily ever after. The end. A long time ago, there was a race between the rabbit and the turtle. Everybody was
cheering for the rabbit.
and the rabbit is so happy about that as he runs so fast. He could not even see the turtle. So he decided to have some sleep. He said, "I won't be here till I wake up." But the rabbit is so wrong. The turtle continued running in his own pace, and finally, he finished first in the race. The rabbit, who was sleeping, didn't even realize that the turtle had already crossed the finish line. Everyone was cheering for the turtle and the rabbit. They were like, "Oh my God, how did he do it?" The rabbit was so embarrassed. He thought he was the fastest animal in the forest. How could he lose a race to a turtle? Moral of the story is, don't underestimate your opponents, and just keep moving forward at your own pace.
A long time ago, there was a beautiful lady who always showed up under the bridge. And almost all of the villagers noticed it, but they didn't mind. One day, the curious guy went under the bridge waiting for the beautiful lady to show up. And here she was. The guy said, "Hi, what is your name? Can we be friends?" The beautiful lady didn't respond. She just kept walking. The guy thought maybe she's shy. So he tried to hold her long hair. And suddenly, the beautiful lady got angry and she turned into a ghost. The guy ran away and he never came back. Do you want to hear another scary story? Comment below if you want part 2. A long time ago, a family was walking in a bush at night and they were chased by a bunch of coconuts. They were all curious and frightened at the same time. But the bravest one was the little girl. She wanted to see what was going on. So she continued to observe the coconut bunch flying up and down, up and down. And after a while, they arrived at their house. They locked all the doors and decided that from now on, they would never be late coming back home. Because who knows what else is out there. The end. If you want to hear more scary stories, stay tuned.
Magandang garahu, MH kaibigan. May kwento. Ako sa inyo tungkol sa isang hunggo at pagong na magkaibigan ay isang araw. No pag-isipan, unggoy na itaponghang pagang sa ilog. Aka, lanilla ay matatakot at malulungkot ang kaibigan. Kayot, inawakan, niya ito at hitinapon sa tubig. Naganitleking gulat, unggo, inang makita niyang masayang masaya ang pagong sa ilog. Lumango, ito nang may ngiti sa muka o tetitila na sa paraiso. Salamat kaibigan sigaw energy pagong. Ito ang aking tahanan, natutong gunggo, mahalagang garal, indilat, inisip nating masama. Ay masama para sa iba. Minsan, ang kakala nating pananakit ay siya palang pagtulong. Salamat sa pakikinig. Mehya kaibigan. Kung nagustuhan ninyo ang kwentong ito, huwag kalimutang subscribe at I like ang video. Hanggang saya muli! Tandahan ang bawat isa sa atin ay may kanyang lugar kung sasang tayo masaya ate naglaliwanag. Once upon a time, there was a tall house, and one night the family was peacefully sleeping. When one of the kids woke up searching for her teddy toy, she glanced at a window and saw a big giant man with long mustaches. She wasn't scared. She went into the window and the giant just passing by, so she went to sleep again. And in the morning, she told her parents, but they never believed her. Some of her siblings laughed at her, but one sibling believed her. And one day they were both looking out the window when they saw the giant again. They started screaming and waving at the giant, but he didn't seem to notice them. He just kept walking. So they ran downstairs and told everyone, but no one believed them. The giant was too busy destroying the city, so no one took the kids seriously. They were all like, "Oh my God, the giant is real." But the giant just kept walking until he disappeared over the horizon. And the kids were like, "See? I told you." Once upon a time, a family of 3 went to see a movie. And in the middle of the movie, one of their child. She roamed around in the theater and found this fountain with a beautiful mermaid. So she walks down the stairs and tries to talk to the mermaid, but the mermaid cannot talk. She can only show her dance in the water. But the kid is so happy. She applauds the mermaid. And then the mermaid, she takes the kid's hand and leads her into the water. The kid is now aware that her parents will look for her. So she went back in the movie. Her parents are still there. The child told her parents about the mermaid, but they didn't believe her. And that's when the mermaid showed herself to them. Oh my goodness! The end? A long time ago, there was a mother who was always busy in the garden. She planted a lot of good crops. It was full of healthy vegetables and fruits. One day, the mother told her child to find a rake for her, and the child responded, "I cannot see where the rake is, Mom." Every time the mother asked her child, she always answered, "I cannot see where." The garden fairy was tired of hearing that, so she made a spell and turned the child into a pineapple. Now she has a lot of eyes to see with. The mother was so sad when this happened. She spent her entire life searching for her child, but the pineapple didn't know any of that. All she knew was that she had a really cool hat made out of leaves. The end.
Här kommer 5 fascinerande fakta om pendet, Sapu Moru. Nummer 5. Minug Wang är en uråldrig tradition. Den har utövats i över 1000 år och anses ha magiska krafter som kan påverka vädret. Nummer 4. Dog Dag är en helig plats. Enligt legenden samlas andar här under fullmåne för att utföra hemliga ritualer. Nummer 3. Sapu Modu har helande egenskaper. Lokala shamaner använder den för att bota sjukdomar och driva ut onda andar. Nummer 2. Wangdug är otroligt sällsynt. Den växer bara på en liten ö och blommar en gång vart 100:e år. Nummer 1. Pendet kan förutsäga framtiden. De som behärskar konsten sägs kunna se händelser långt innan de inträffar. Dessa fascinerande fakta visar hur mycket det finns att upptäcka om pendet Sapuch Modu. Vår värld är full av mysterier som väntar på att utforskas.
A turtle found a banana fruit but could not climb up the tree. So he asked his friend, the monkey, to help him get it. But the monkey was so greedy that after eating half of the banana, he threw the peels at the turtle. The turtle was sad, but he had an idea. He put a bunch of thorns around the tree so the monkey couldn't climb down. The monkey pleaded with the turtle to remove the thorns. But the turtle just left and went to find another food. This is why it's important to be careful when choosing a friend. If you're a turtle, a monkey is not a good friend. Why cows wear loose clothes? 2 friends, a cow and a water buffalo, whose parents had told them not to swim in a river, decided to do it anyway. They waited until their parents weren't looking and snuck out to go swimming. But they were so stubborn that they didn't listen to their parents' warning. When their parents realized that they were nowhere to be found, they rushed into the river with her beat stick. The cow and the water buffalo saw their parents coming and got so scared that they rushed home. As they were running, they accidentally changed clothes. That's why the cow ended up with loose clothes. The water buffalo, being bigger and stronger than the cow, was able to pull his clothes tight. And that's why cows wear loose clothes. This boy was always bullied. One day, he was walking along the beach and he found an egg. He brought it home and put it on his bed. Every night he checked it, but it didn't hatch. One day, it did hatch though. And when it did, it turned into a dragon. The dragon was so happy to see the boy that it licked his face off. They became best friends instantly. The dragon would fly him around the world, and the boy was never bullied again. In fact, the other kids were afraid of his dragon friend, so they left him alone. And that's the story of how this boy who was always bullied turned things around and became popular. The end.
A long time ago, an old lady was leaving alone in the woods. One day, the little girl got lost in the woods. She was so scared. Then she saw a house and she knocked. She said, "Anybody home?" The old lady opened the door and told her she could stay if she wanted. The next night comes, the old lady was looking for her wedding ring. She couldn't find it anywhere. The girl was so innocent. She asked, "Maybe you misplaced it." The old lady suddenly became a witch. She said, "It was you who stole my ring. Now I will eat you." The girl ran away as fast as she could and she was free.
This blind boyfriend and Pedro climbed up the guava tree. The blind friend picks a fruit and he says, "This guava is so soft." The other friend says, "Get off my balls? It's not a guava." But they both start laughing. This is one of those situations where you can tell the story without even seeing it. You can just imagine the two friends climbing up the tree and picking fruits from it. And you can tell that the blind guy is enjoying it because he's like, "Oh, this guava is so soft." But then the other guy's like, "Dude, you're not supposed to be touching my balls." So they both start laughing. These are the type of stories that I love to read and I love to share with you guys because, first of all, they're hilarious, but they're also very wholesome. Just two friends having fun, enjoying some guavas together.